June is finally here, yet we are still waiting for the summer weather switch to be thrown. When we think of summer, our thoughts meander to the sun and surf, picnics, and also, but not the least of which, baseball. I'm Huntley Harrison, bringing you another installment of Chatham Today. In this show, we will provide you with the information you need to take advantage of what's happening in Chatham during the month of June. In our special segment for this month, we'll be talking with someone who has been in Chatham a long time and has a special relationship to the town in the summer, especially when it comes to baseball. Chatham Anglers manager John Schiffner will be joining me a little bit later in the program to talk about his 25-year tenure with the hometown team. So please stay tuned as he reflects on his experiences and memories with the Chatham A's and later with the Anglers. But first, we will look at the events and activities in Chatham for this month. As usual, the Council on Aging has a variety of events and activities going on. They kick off the month on Monday, June 5th, with a fabulous movie, Hidden Figures. This is the incredible, untold story of three brilliant African-American women working at NASA who served as the brains behind one of the greatest operations in history, the launch of astronaut John Glenn into orbit. This visionary trio crossed all gender and race lines to inspire future generations to dream big. Transportation is available. Call to reserve your spot. Next is attorney Michael Lavender discussing asset protection strategies on Monday, June 12th at 1 p.m. Attorney Lavender will facilitate a non-political discussion that will focus on the present administration's current budgetary blueprint and how it would bring cuts to various entitlement programs which portend significant cost shifting to those least able to afford them. Why not join them for lunch before the program? Please call to reserve your spot for both the program and lunch. Transportation, again, will be available. And on Wednesday, June 14th, don't forget, the Beach, Marsh, and Dune Creation Bus Tour with Barbara Waters. The tour will include examples of ways human activities are affecting this natural process and how the natural process is affecting Chatham. You will be visiting the Monomoy Wildlife Refuge Center. Space is limited, registration is required, and transportation, of course, will be available. The bus leaves the COA at 10 a.m. And finally, let's talk women's health. Playing it safe on Monday, June 26th at 1 p.m. Exercise, eating well, and getting more sleep are all leading health goals for women. However, there are many health concerns that women overlook for numerous reasons. Join Melanie Parrish from the VNA Public Health and Wellness Organization in this program that will offer the opportunity to learn and ask questions in a discreet and respectful setting. Again, think about coming early for lunch. Reservations are required. Oh, one more thing I almost forgot. On Monday, June 19th at 1 p.m., the COA will present the movie La La Land, set in modern-day Los Angeles. This original musical about everyday life explores the joy and pain of pursuing your dreams. Great film. Don't miss it. With summer fast approaching, there are a variety of events at the Eldridge Library that could possibly spark your interest. Join their newest book group, Reading in the Kitchen, a cookbook group. On Tuesday, June 6th at 6:30 p.m., the group meets to taste recipes and discuss cookbooks. This month's selections are The Picnic by Marnine Hanel and The Summer Table by Lisa Lemke. Copies of the cookbooks are available at the library. The group will meet the first Tuesday of each month. Registration is required for each month. Please contact Lorna Zialo at 508-945-5170. On Thursday, June 8th and the 22nd, starting at 4 p.m., the Chatham Chess Club will meet. They are looking for players. All skill levels are welcome. Bring a chess set if possible. This group will be meeting on the second and fourth Thursday of the month. Call Randy for more information at 617-631-2591. Saturday, June 10th at 2 p.m., the Book to Film discussion group meets. This month's selection is A Room with a View by E.M. Forster. On Tuesday, June 13th at 7 p.m., Chatham at the Time of the Great War with John Whalen. Mr. Whalen will be at the library to talk about Chatham at the time of the Great War. He will focus on what Chatham was like during World War I and on the mood of the USA upon entering the war. He will include the Chatham Naval Air Station in Chatham-Port and the U-boat attack in Orleans in 1918. And here's some more history. On Friday, June 16th, from 11 to 1, Finding the History of Your Home as part of History Weekend. Don Edge will be at the library to help you research the history of your home using the Historic Property Survey forms. Homes or buildings that are over 100 years old are eligible for an historic house plaque. So get yours. On Thursday, June 22nd at 7 p.m., there will be an art reception for photographer Mark Chester. The Bay State, a Multicultural Landscape, Photographs of New Americans, is an exhibit of inspirational portraits by photographer Mr. Chester. Chester's powerful photographs create a visual archive that celebrates the broad diversity of Massachusetts citizens. The exhibit will run through June 30th. You can meet Mark Chester at the artist reception on June 22nd at 7 p.m. And for those of you who like foreign films, the Classic and Foreign Film Group will meet on Saturday, June 24th at 2 p.m. This month's selection is the 1949 film Kind Hearts and Coronets, directed by Robert Hamer. Toward the end of the month, there are two events of special note. On Monday, June 26th at 7 p.m., An Uneasy Nation of Immigrants with Daniel Tickner. Although the United States is a nation built upon immigration, the subject has been a source of contentious debate since the founding generation. This talk will help shed light on the practical and philosophical origins of these differences over immigrant admissions and rights, and encourage audience members to reflect on several important policy dilemmas. And next, an author event with Sally Gunning. On Thursday, June 29th at 7, Sally Cabot Gunning, author of the Setauket novels and Benjamin Franklin's Bastard, returns with a masterful new work of literary historical fiction. Monticello, A Daughter and Her Father, is a timely exploration of the relationship between Martha Jefferson Randolph and one of the most highly educated American women of her day and her father, the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. It is a fictional exploration of the fledgling era of the nation, providing an insightful glimpse into the politics and family life of the Jeffersons. And one last item that just came in, the Friends of the Eldridge Public Library annual meeting with guest speaker Emily Rooney will take place on Tuesday, June 13th at 3 p.m. This meeting will feature distinguished WGBH journalist and news anchor Emily Rooney, who will present The Intersection of the Press and Politics. Ms. Rooney is currently the host of the weekly program Beat the Press. She was executive producer of World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, ABC's nightly news program. As you may well recognize her, Ms. Rooney comes from a distinguished family with deep roots in journalism, and her talk promises to be enlightening and entertaining. Following Ms. Rooney's talk, the meeting will shift to the business of the Friends of the Eldridge Public Library. All FEPL members and non-members are invited to this special event. And now for some items of general interest. On June 10th is the annual Chatham Municipal Airport Open House. Trains, planes, and automobiles. This is a family-friendly event, and best of all, there is no charge. It's free. The open house runs from 10 to 2. For more information, check out chathamairport.com. This is always a fun event. The rain date will be Sunday, June 11th. June 16th through the 18th will be Chatham's 4th History Weekend, with museums in town having free admission, opening new exhibits for the summer, and several special programs. You can find it all covered on the History Weekend webpage, which is on the screen now. This website is a great way to know all about Chatham from a historic perspective. And the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy has a June event that sounds very interesting. The Atlantic White Shark Conservancy and Massachusetts Audubon Wellfleet Bay Sanctuary are teaming up to host the 3rd annual Phenomenal Fest in Chatham on June 10th. That's F-I-N. The event will kick off with the free movie Great White Shark at the Chatham Orpheum at 10 a.m. and will be followed by a day of fun and educational shark-themed activities at Kate Gould Park from 11 to 2. And also, here's a preview of a special July event for the Conservancy. On July 6th at the Wequasit Resort, the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy and the National Geographic present Sharks with Brian Scarry, award-winning National Geographic photographer and conservationist. Brian Scarry has gone to extraordinary lengths to show us why he would not only protect sharks, but also respect and appreciate them as integral species within our ecosystem. Join them for this special evening as Mr. Scarry shares the amazing stories behind some of his most unforgettable photos. Mark your calendars now for this interesting and relevant event. We will provide more details in our July show. And you know it's summer when the Chatham Band concerts start. Friday, June 30th is the first concert of the summer. So set up your blankets, buy your balloons, and get ready for an enjoyable evening of music, dancing, and singing. Heidi-ho! Now, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we are privileged to have with us today Chatham Anglers manager John Schiffner. The start of the 2017 Cape Cod Baseball League season marks an important moment in Cape Cod Baseball League and Chatham A's and Anglers history. It is the 25th anniversary of John Schiffner's tenure as manager. We are privileged to have John with us and to talk about those 25 years. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you here. Tell us, how did you find out about the manager's position with the A's at that time? And actually, it was the A's at that time.
Yes, it was. Yeah. At the time, in 1993, I was the assistant coach. Mm-hmm. It's kind of an interesting little story how I coached. I was an assistant coach from 1978 to 1982. Mm-hmm. Left in 82, did some scouting for the Expos, coached in the Atlantic Collegiate League in 89, and came back to watch some Cape League championship games, playoff games in 1990, and I was fortunate enough to I had offers from 3 teams, Orleans, Chatham, and Cotuit, to come back as an assistant. And I said, well, I'm pretty familiar with Chatham, I'll go back. And the coach then was Bob Whalen, at that time assistant at Maine. Over that winter, Bob got the head coaching job at Dartmouth and could not return, so the 2 assistants at the time was Rich Hill, who was the head coach at California Lutheran, and me, and we were both given a phone interview, and they were very polite and said, you know, Rich has head coaching experience in college, and you're a high school coach. And I said, okay, fine. And Richie was great. Rich called me on the phone and said, look, I know you have experience at the Cape. Would you like to be on my staff? And I said, I'd love to. I mean, I love the league. It's great. It's close by. I was living in Connecticut at the time until the summer, so it was perfect. And in 1993, Rich got another opportunity to go to the University of San Francisco, and when he got that job, they told him, look, you have to give up your summer position. So the A's were very gracious and said, well, you've been around as an assistant in 9-10 years. Let's see what you can do. You're the interim coach, and we lucked out as we we were in last place at the time in our division. We ended up winning the division, and the athletic association as well. Let's go. And I'm still here.
Here you are. And then the next question: did you think it would last this long?
No, I did not. I don't know. I mean, nobody. I don't think too many times do you plan on being in this profession for 25 years.
Yeah.
But it's been a great run. It's been fun. It's been exciting. It's what a town to be in. So everything's pretty good. It's I mean, after a while, it's like I don't plan on going anyplace. This is great. But did I think? I didn't think so. I thought that there'd be pressure to get a college coach in here because at the time the NCAA hadn't changed the rules where you had staff limitations like they do now. They didn't have staff limitations, so it was very important for a lot of the young coaches to get out and as a head coach in the summer to put that on their resume. So it was very difficult for a high school guy to get a head job. And I just happened to luck out. We kept winning, and again, here we are.
Here we are. Holy darn. Well, let's talk about some of the highlights over those years. Teams, players. I know your stats are off the charts here. 519 wins, 15 playoffs, 6 division titles, 2 championships, and a 2-time best manager on the Cape League. That's pretty impressive.
I'm very humbled by that. I really, really am too. Never think you get a chance to have this job because I was told by many people you'll never get a job there. You're only a high school coach, and to now hear those, it's humbling. It's very, very humbling, and it's rewarding. And it's like I said, if it wasn't for this community, the people behind it. But yeah, it's been a great ride.
Some memorable teams over the years?
Every one of them. Every one of them has been memorable. There's never been a team that we just wanted to, we couldn't wait for them to leave. There's just, the bonds you make with these kids is unique. This is a very unique experience being here, and it's not like minor league ball, and it's not like college ball. It's different and it's unique, and it's as many of the teams, all 9 other teams, many of their players will say it was the best summer of their life or best summers of their life because of just the volunteers. You're living with host families. You're on Cape Cod, and it's just, there's so many things to it that just make it so unique. So to pick out some teams, obviously the championship teams were great because you win the championship, but we had teams that should have won the championship and we just didn't. We had teams that really, they weren't very good. We just did not play well, but those kids they battled to the end of the season, and it was a great experience for everyone. I tell the guys when they get there, this is one of the little things that we try to kind of impart on these guys, is that I want you to do 3 things when you leave here. First of all, I want you to be better than when you got here. I want you to help us win some games, because if you're getting better, you're probably going to help us win games. And I want you to have the best summer of your life. And that's how we play each summer. So whether the team finishes in last, finishes in first, we're going to try to accomplish those 3 goals. Because at that point, we accomplish those 3 goals. It's been a pretty good summer, even if you don't win every time.
Well, I think, or suspect anyway, one of your biggest challenges must be to look at the chemistry of the players and how that all fits together. Because, I used to be a high school coach myself, not baseball, another sport, and it was the teams that were really good were the ones that really had chemistry with each other. And I bet these guys coming from different locations, different schools, different backgrounds, that must be very different.
I can say that again, because of the uniqueness of this and the bonds that the kids make with each other, last year, for example, we snuck in the last day of the regular season to make the playoffs. That was one of my favorite teams of all time. They were one of the greatest groups of young men. They fought. We lost guys. I lost like a college all-star team between April 15th and June 1st. It was, the guys we lost for various reasons. Now we're trying to piece it all together, and guys are getting hurt, guys are leaving, and the core group stayed together. And what a great reward for those guys to, finish in the playoffs and then to beat Harwich in the divisional semifinals. Phenomenal, and they earned it. It was one of the worst goodbyes ever. You didn't want to see them go. Yeah. I wanted to keep coaching. We could have won if that season had 10 more games. We might have won more games. And yes, on the other hand, some of the teams that I've had, the 2005 team, I think we had 9 or 10 big leaguers. Yeah, there was chemistry there, but it was you have to have a certain group, a certain person or 2 who are going to be your leaders. Like that team in '05, we had Evan Longoria, he just led by example. And we had Todd Frazier, who was one of the funniest guys you ever want on your baseball team. I heard a rumor that the Red Sox were thinking of grabbing him. Man, they should. Wow. Todd has the best presence in the clubhouse of anybody I've ever been around, and he can flat out play. But he plays the game. He's not, it's not a job for him, it's a game. And he was awesome. And that, you need guys like that. And we had guys like that last year, though probably none of them will be as good as Todd Frazier. But they played to have fun. They love coming to the field and being with their teammates.
Well, that I think having fun is really important, and certainly I think is part of that chemistry that all works together as they play. Players that have gone on to the majors, you've had probably about a dozen or so or more?
132.
Oh, just you? 132? A dozen
counting,
or so.
Counting the years I was an assistant from 78 to 82, and then from 1990 to 93, and then from 93 on. It's almost 100 with the guys. I was the manager. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, I guess so. Ooh. I had no idea. Tell me, who are some rising stars that you might see coming up this year?
Well, the Red Sox fan just saw one the other day. Chad Pinder hit that 487-foot home run for the Oakland A's. He was with us several years ago, and obviously everyone knows who Chris Bryant is. Yep. There's guys, they're on the cusp right now coming up, and you check like Danny Espinosa's been around for a while for the Nationals, but we've got I think last season we had like 34, 35 guys in the big leagues alone in last season, so it's quite special. It's so neat to turn on the television. And no matter if it's one of your guys or somebody you coach, you're pointing, you're down in the scroll, you look, there's a Chatham, there's a guy who played for Orleans.
Well,
it's phenomenal.
I remember years ago, Jeff Bagwell, I think, played for the A's. And
87, 88, I think.
Yeah, and because I remember my son got an autographed baseball from him, so that's
great guy.
One of his treasures.
Oh, I can imagine. Hall of Famer. How about that?
Yeah. So tell me, what's a typical game day like for you? Your daily games? Or
if it's a good day, I might try to get out and go fishing, or golf, one or the other. Yeah. But you got to be. I like to be at the ballpark by 2:30. We have optional hitting for all the position players about 3:15. And optional is optional, unless we go to somebody and say, hey, look, you need to get down there. We need to work with you, or something like that. So that starts around 3:15. Then we'll go our team stretch at 4:30, batting practice around 5, and infield, outfield about 6:30, and off you go. But we've got the batting tunnel, so we can work with guys down there. The coaches will be working with the infielders on ground balls, or we'll go over signs. We try to keep it simple. We really do. We're not trying to, I tell them we're not trying to invent baseball in Chatham. Right. Baseball's been around since Abner Doubleday put that game together, and it's been pretty good. It's one of the sports that has had the fewest changes of all the major sports, and there's a reason. It's a real simple game. If you can throw it and catch it and hit it, you're going to be okay. And we don't try to reinvent it. We just say, let's play baseball. Our job as a staff is to handle these kids when they're failing, because some of them, this is the first time they're failing. They've been superstars since little league, high school, college, and they've been on their travel ball teams, and they've been drafted, and now all of a sudden they're facing some of the best competition. We tell these guys, this could be the best team you'll ever play on. The Cape League teams can be as good as high A. So you're in a really, really big time neighborhood when you're going against these guys, and they sometimes struggle with failure. They don't get it. And that's where you're putting your arm around a guy and you get him out to the ballpark instead of. I'm there 1:30 talking to my second baseman who's gone 0 for 17. He needs talking to. Not disciplined. He needs to be like pumped up. Yeah. And that's part of our job, because most of these guys have not failed. The potential is there to fail in the Cape League.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because that leads right into my next question. And I'd say, what kind of skills do you practice most? Now, they're baseball skills, but are they the other types of skills where you're trying to bring the guy out of the slump?
The skills are there. Mm-hmm. They're the Cape Cod League. This is the best of the best. Yeah. I love what the league says. Where tomorrow's stars shine tonight, and that's so true. Yeah. These are the best baseball players in the country. I always say that the team that wins the Cape Cod League championship is the best team in college baseball, because you can take the last place team from the Cape Cod League and you'll win any of the conferences in the country. That's how good this league really is. Wow. So you're doing a lot of, mental work with the guys, but you're also trying to not, try to tell them to work through it. Try to, go back to the real basics. Do you realize that you're failing 7 out of 10 times and you're good? You have to go through, and you have to remind them of that, because some of these kids are so tense and they're so bad. They just, they want to perform. They know that the scouts, the general managers, the scouting directors, they're all there watching them, and they want to go to that next level. If you don't come to the Cape Cod League without a goal of going to the next level, don't come, because that's what you're going to face every night. You're facing the best every night. So it's repetition. Ground ball, ground ball, ground ball, batting practice, batting practice. We're not doing anything crazy. We're not trying to, teach them something that they know. We're not going to take somebody whose arm slot's here and move them here in the middle of the season. Right. We're going to work with you. We're going to get you better. Will we change your grip a little bit, a little fine tuning? Oh, sure. Yeah. Or will we back a hitter off the plate or move them up in the box? Very, very small fine tuning things. Exactly, yeah. Because they are who they are, and muscle memory is a huge thing in baseball. And, the biggest thing is you keep them pumped up, keep positive.
Well, I've got one more question for you. This has been great. I wish we could continue. We could probably stay here all day and talk, but I know you have said, and this is a quote, that there are special, only on the Cape moments. And I was reading an article that kind of highlighted a couple of these, and to you, of these, what kind of stands out? I remember, and I'll give you a hint.
Sure.
That I'm thinking of. There was a wedding, a couple of weddings.
I always tell people that I have one of the 10 best jobs in amateur baseball, and then I go, you know what, I really have the best one because I'm in Chatham, and I really truly believe that. And I think the people who have been a part of the association for all the years I've been here since the 70s, they have embraced our players and the team. And in doing so, I think this stat, if you want to call it a stat, whatever you want to say it is, 5 of my ex-players came back to Chatham to get married. That makes I get misty. Yeah. That shows you what we've done as a group.
Yeah, it's a connection.
It's unbelievable what the Chatham Athletic Association, the town of Chatham, my coaching staff, and myself. We call it the Chatham Experience. Mm-hmm. I tell the kids, you're part of the Chatham Experience right now. And I also tell the guys, unfortunately, guys who are temp players, and we have to release them, but I tell them, once a Chatham A, always a Chatham A, and you're part of the family forever. And we promote that, and I think that tells you the story right there. 5 of your ex-players came back to get married here. Now, 2 of them married Chatham girls, but other 3 said, no, I want to go back and get married in Chatham. And it's like, holy mackerel. And I always said, as a teacher and as a coach, we all want to make an impact. And I think the people who are part of the association, the host families and the people who work the concession stands, and people do that, they have made the experience. They've made the Chatham experience for these players.
Well, I know it's a wonderful experience, certainly for the people of Chatham who come to the games, the people who visit here during the summer. It's just a marvelous
You can set
experience.
your watch on some of the people. If I wake up from a coma and I see some people, I'm going to say, oh, it's the end of July. There they are. They come here every year.
Same family.
Absolutely. And their kids are getting bigger,
yeah.
And now they're bringing their own kids. I swear to God, you can set your watch to some of these people. And they're Monday night, they know there's a night off. They're going to go to the Squire for dinner. Tuesday night, they're going to the game. And it's just, it's fabulous.
Well, John, this has been wonderful. You're an icon, and certainly a great credit to the Cape League, and we're so pleased to have you for the Chatham A's and now the Anglers. It's been, like you said, it's a wonderful run. Thank you so much for being with Chatham today and having this interview.
Thank you.
Like I said,
really
we could probably go on all day.
And thanks to them out there who are watching, because they're all part of it. They're part of Chatham.
Yep, that's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That wraps it up for this time. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Chatham Today. Remember, the show runs on Channel 99 on Mondays at 9 a.m. and several other times during the week. If you missed the cablecast or want to see it again, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube, or you can visit our website. Just do a Google search for site/Chatham Today. It should be the first entry that you see. The web address is on the screen now. Chatham Today is a video chronicle of the events and activities in the town of Chatham. If you would like to have what's happening in your organization announced on the air, please email us. We look forward to hearing from you. You can also like us on Facebook at Chatham Today. and we certainly hope you do. Thank you for watching. We'll see you down the road.